let me take advantage of this question and digress, and I'll be coming back to the girls, very shortly. But since we're talking about misinformation, there've been reports that the last AFCON, you took, some officials who should not, have been there, and you've been subjected to investigations. What is going on?
Well, it's very, very simple. Again, from where we stand as FAZ, what normally happens is that if the assignment is under the ministry, we always, as a rule, send an advance party. And in doing so, from my office as president, I nominate one EXCO member who's going to be the delegation leader, and the general secretary deals with the other staff who are part of the team. So from my office, I nominated the vice president to go as advance party, and I also nominated Jordan Maliti, who went with the team to Saudi Arabia as delegation leader, because the team had a camp in Saudi before going to Ivory Coast. So from that perspective, there was actually nothing untoward. But of course, we got to a point where the ministry raised the query that the two officials, Madaliso and Jairus, were not FAZ employees. I think that was the bone of contention. And in the last 8 years that I've been in FAZ, it was the first time we were getting such a query. Of course, we've never been given guidance that these advance parties should only be for FAZ staff and EXCO members. And I think we did clarify that with the ministry. But most importantly for us, these two officials are part and parcel of FAZ, because you see, outside the executive, outside the members of staff, we also have standing committees, and we pick a number of officials. Even the team doctors, they are not FAZ employees. So unless somebody is saying even those team doctors, when they are paid by government, then they shouldn't be paid. So it's a case of being clear what you're looking for. As far as we are concerned, whoever we send on assignment to various assignments, whether local or foreign, they are part and parcel of FAZ. And even in our constitution, an official is defined. Somebody who's working with a club, they are given national assignments, they are part and parcel of FAZ. In the case of Madaliso, the bone of contention, we share the same surname. People have claimed he's my relative. Of course, we are not related by blood. But the truth of the matter is, he's been with Lusaka Dynamos for many, many years. He's been performing security services for FAZ in so many assignments, even locally. If you've been to the international games locally, he's the person you find at the VVIP. He does even the protocol. So if he performs the same service locally, it's not a problem. He goes to Ivory Coast, it becomes a problem. It becomes a bit of a questionable situation. Jairus is an official with the National Assembly. Again, he is part and parcel of whatever we are doing. So the long and short end of it, it's early campaign season. We have elections next year. So anything that can be thrown up is a good story for campaign.
This is not the first time, Andrew, your leadership, your management has been questioned. Even the previous, government, it was the same, time and again. For somebody who has achieved, so much, is there something that we don't know about the relationship you have with some government officials responsible for sport?
Well, it's always surprising, because first things first, I'll tell you that one, I'm not an employee of FAZ. I don't get a salary from FAZ. I don't even have any other benefit other than getting my allowance whenever I go for a meeting. It's 3,000 kwacha. Whenever I travel outside the country, it's $300 per night. Other than that, there's absolutely nothing else that I get. But of course, the fighting, and to me, I'll put it this way. the only reason why there's so much jostling for this, and why people even call me names. I just gave you an outline of what we've achieved with the women's team since 2018. The biggest crime that I seem to have committed is that we basically just stopped people from stealing football money. That is it, nothing more. A lot of people make noise because they believe there's so much money in FAZ that they can lay their hands on. Before I came, all the teams countrywide never used to get anything. The only time people were getting money was through tickets. I remember very well the first time I walked into FAZ, I was given 2 booklets of tickets, and I was told this is the president's allocation. The other EXCO members the booklet each, and these are tickets which would find themselves on the black market. We changed the system. We've gone to CompuTicket. Even now, the minister can even attest to this. We get limited tickets. Whenever there's a request for additional tickets, I personally buy the tickets and will give them with a receipt and paid for. So we've brought in a level of discipline which has never been seen, because I think the expectation is that this is football. The standards for controls should be minimal, which was happening in the past, and unfortunately we've been able to fix that. So to some extent, if you are seen not to be supporting individuals, then you are the wrong guy. But my view has always been, we are here to support all the teams, and this is why we've decentralized. We started the program of giving footballs, jerseys, as well as the grants of 5,000 to all the football clubs across the country. So whatever money was being shared by a few individuals is now being spread to all the members across the country. Even today, if I walked out of FAZ, I'll be very, very happy that at least I did something which was never there.
Andrew, I know you very well. I appreciate your impeccable credibility. Do you at times, feel, is this worth messing up my credibility which I've built over the years?
Well, you need to look at it 2 ways. And I'll tell you why I find myself in this situation. Many, many years ago, I had the option of choosing whether to go into politics or to stay out of politics. And I thought that football was an easier option, because at the end of the day, I think my interest was just basically service to society. I mean, as you said, I've achieved quite a bit, and I think I owe it to the country. I went through the free education system, and I'm duty bound to obviously give back to the country in one form or the other. And I thought that football would be the ideal platform. But little did I know that it was even worse than the mainstream politics. Like I said, we've got elections next year. I already indicated that I'll be standing. Immediately the reaction is no. Why are you standing? No third term. But I'm the only one who came up with the previous executive to insert term limits, because prior to the 2017 constitution, it was unlimited terms.
Absolutely.
So we now said, look, we need to change, bring in term limits. So the maximum you can go is 3 terms of 4 years. So I'm in my second term. There's still 1 term to go. I don't even understand why people would be talking about a 3rd term. But regardless, I think at the end of the day, you just have to compete on ideas. If people believe our best is still not good enough, they've got the right to make the decision. But from where I stand, I think FAZ is obviously in a much, much better space than it was before.
Brilliant.
Of course, others will argue. Financially, in next week, we've got an AGM. We've had a situation with our previous coach we had to make a provision based on a decision from the Player Status Committee. And we had to make a provision in the accounts, obviously, as part of the best accounting practice. It's not a loss per se because the case is still under appeal at CAS. But these are things you have to deal with.
Absolutely. Still on the